Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew. If it's your first time here, I'm an exercise physiologist and a Chinese medicine practitioner, particularly specializing in musculoskeletal rehab, where I use classical Chinese medicine rehabilitation techniques and also modern exercise physiologic techniques to help people recover from illnesses, injuries, pain, and dysfunction. So if there's exercise that we can use to help someone recover an injury, and then I saw manual therapy techniques with acupuncture, needling, cupping, massage techniques, yoga, tai chi, qigong, functional kettlebell training, strength training, all the tools that we've got to access to help people recover from injury. And a big part of doing that is understanding our anatomy. So this series is functional anatomy. It's just about kind of overviewing the structure of the skeletal system, the muscular system, how they interrelate together. Because when you understand how the muscles work, exercise becomes really well, in terms of you understand the muscle, you understand what the muscle does, and then when you're prescribing exercise, it just makes a lot more sense. So let's get into it. In today's series, we're looking at these muscle groups here, or this muscle group on the side of the lower limb, often referred to as the lateral compartment or the peroneals or the fibularis muscles. So we've got two big boys to look at. I'm also going to discuss a couple of important ligaments at the ankle here as well. So if we look at our first one here, we've got fibularis longus, and then just sitting underneath that here, we've got fibularis brevis. There is the third one called tertius, but for today, we're just going to look at these two bad boys here. Now, they're called fibularis because they're essentially attaching onto the fibula bone, which is that long, thin bone, which goes along the outside of your leg. All right, so they're hence fibularis longus and brevis. But you may also know them as the peroneals as well. So same name or same thing but different. Same muscles, different names. Just depends on where you learned it from. Okay, so, and as always, we are using Complete Anatomy app, which is an amazing app and tool for you to study anatomy. I'm just going to be giving you a real overview. If you want to go deeper, I highly recommend you get the app because it's a lot of information here that you can get to learn, which I'm not going to go over today. All right, just want to give you the really important pieces of information. So remember our rule here is we want to learn the muscle action. So the muscle action means when it contracts and the tendon pulls on the bone, what does the bone do, or what does the joint do? How does it move? So the muscles create the movement by contraction and by pulling on the bone. So if you kind of keep in mind that muscles really only pull, they don't push, because muscles, they slide across each other when they contract, the fibers slide. So the ends are going to be drawn towards each other or pulled towards each other. And you don't actually push them away. They just relax and go back to their resting tension. Okay. And so there's three different ways a muscle contracts. There's an isometric contraction where the muscle just tensions and holds, concentric contraction where the muscle is going to shorten, and then eccentric contraction where the muscle lengthens under control. Okay. So here we have the peroneal group or the lateral compartment, and really its main job is to stabilize the ankle, okay, the ankle roll in what we call eversion. And we'll have a look at that in a minute, and also to help plantar flexion. So the two main roles of this muscle group is eversion, so ankle roll, and then plantar flexion, where you point your toe downward. So if we look at the attachments, proximal attachment here of our peroneal longus is the head of the fibula. Okay, it comes down the outside lateral aspect of the lower limb, and then it hooks around this bone here, which is the fibula, and this aspect here is called the lateral malleolus. It's got a bit of a kind of a protuberance to it. And so there's an actual groove where these tendons will sit in behind this kind of bone there. And so that's going to hook around. So the longus is going to hook around, goes around the side of the ankle, kind of past the calcaneus, and then underneath the foot. And then it's going to thread to the base of the foot, and it's going to go to the opposite side to the base of the first metatarsal. So that's the big toe bone. Okay, and then we also have the medial cuneiform here, and it's going to then fascially spread out into the plantar fascia here. So it's going to support the arch of the foot from the lateral aspect here. So when this muscle contracts, it's going to pull in this direction there. And that creates the eversion or the roll of the ankle. Then the brevis, peroneal brevis or fibularis brevis, sits underneath the longus and goes up to kind of about a middle third of the shaft of the fibula, comes around, hooks around the malleolus again, and this one goes to the fifth big toe bone or the fifth metatarsal, and kind of like the stichiated bony bit here, okay, where this actual tendon attaches onto, so the fifth metatarsal tuberosity. So typically where a tendon attaches onto a bone, there's a rough surface or a bit of a stichiated point, and that's where the tendon or a ligament usually attach onto. So it's got something to grab onto. So that's basically the two muscles. So they're going to affect the ankle. Let's have a look at the ankle roll for those two muscles. So if we go to motion, fibularis longus eversion. So our peroneal is contracting. This is looking from the posterior view, so looking behind. And what you want to do is you look at the roll of the heel bone here, the calcaneus, and see how it's rolling outward. So your little toe is going out. So this is called eversion. All right, and so this is going to control that roll. So if you think about if you're walking along and you're on an uneven surface, when your foot lands, it wants a little bit of give both ways into eversion and also into inversion. So, and we want muscles to help control those rolls and in both directions, so inversion and eversion. So as you heel strike down and your ankle rolls into eversion, the muscles here will contract to help stabilize that there. So if you look from the front, now, typically what happens when you heel strike, so when you take that step forward, you typically land in this position already in the eversion here. So you're just the way that kind of gait biomechanically happens, your foot's already rolled out. So you typically land on the heel strike here in slight eversion. And then as you transfer your weight through, you go into neutral, so more of a neutral position. And then what happens is you then go into pronation, which is not shown in here. And pronation is where then the heel rolls that way. So you go inversion heel strike and then pronation roll. And that pronation roll allows you then to put your weight into this section of the big toe so that you can toe off. And then this whole kind of plantar fascia arch acts like a spring. It kind of flattens down and then rebounds back up, flattens down and rebounds back up. So we want a heel that can kind of roll from eversion to pronation, eversion into pronation, or eversion into inversion. Okay, so you get this nice roll through there. And this is kind of happening at multiple joints. You've got the ankle joint, which is typically the tibia and the talus, which is purely a hinge. It just kind of rolls like a hinge. And then you have the talus, which sits on top of the calcaneus. So if I get out of that. So then you have the talus, which is the big kind of flat bone, and that sits on the calcaneus. And so those two bones, they tend to kind of roll like this, like that. So that's your inversion, eversion, or pronation. And then you have all the joints of the foot. So all these joints, they act like that spring as well. So you have multiple joints working, but the two big ones is the tibio-talar joint, which is the hinge, And then you have the talocalcaneal joint, which is the roll, hinge and roll, hinge and roll. The peroneal groups typically work to control the roll on the outside, the lateral compartment. And then we've got the deep posterior compartment, which we'll do in our next video, controls the opposite roll. Okay, so eversion, toe out, inversion, toe in, often something called pronation. So that's pretty much what's going on there. Now, if you look at these little ligaments, we've got three most common sprained ligaments in the body, in the ankle. So we've got the anterior talofibular ligament. So anterior means to the front, talo means that bone there, fibula means that bone there. So ligaments are always named by the bones they connect to. So anterior talofibular ligament. And you've got two little kind of fibers there. And then you've got the calcaneofibular ligament. So calcaneus, heel bone, fibula. So when you roll your ankle, and you kind of roll into inversion, these ligaments get stretched. Okay. What's going to happen though is as you're rolling the heel in, so you're going in, okay, these muscles here will eccentrically lengthen and try to stabilize that roll. So they're trying to help control the roll as well. Okay. When these muscles contract and pull you up into eversion, these ligaments are not tensioned. It's the ligaments on the inside of the ankle which are tensioned. So we need two compartments. We need the lateral compartment on the outside and then the deep posterior compartment on the inside to control the ankle roll forward and back. The other thing that this muscle does is we go back to motion, and or maybe it's on this other one. I'll show it. Here we go. Plantar flexion. So these are kind of like weak calf muscles because they're helping the gastroc and the soleus plantar flex the foot. So when these muscles work as a group together, all right, they get plantar flexion of the foot. We've also got some other muscles here. So we've got our flexor digitorum. So that's going to the toes. And then we've also got our flexor hallucis, which goes to the toes, the big toe. We'll cover those. They're part of the deep compartment. So we'll get to those. So essentially, if you want to exercise or train the peroneals, what you do is you train the muscle in both its actions. So if the peroneals are plantar flexors and evertors, that's what you want to do in your movement. So essentially what you would do is you want to do a calf raise, so plantar flex, okay, and then evert your foot, plantar flex and evert your foot. So if you put your weight when you're doing that, you come up onto the ball of the foot. So you come up onto the ball of your foot here. Okay, so typically the ball of your foot's across this line there. Okay, and then you're going to contract this muscle, the peroneals, which is going to pull the foot out this way. Okay, so you're going to calf raise and then evert your foot. And to do that, you typically put your weight more on your big toe. All right. And you'll lift the heel up and you'll get that roll. So you'll feel that roll coming through. So when we're doing calf rehab or ankle rehab, essentially we do three types of calf raises. We do straight calf raises where you get all those muscles working together. Then you do lateral compartment calf raises where you go up into plantar flexion and then weight bear onto the big toe side, which helps facilitate that eversion. And then you do the opposite where you put your weight onto your little toe side and that helps create inversion and that facilitates more of the deep compartment as well. So you do three essentially. And so you're just doing them on slightly different angles to get the different effects. So if you just do a calf raise, you come up onto the balls of your feet and just roll out onto your little toes, okay, you're going to create that inversion. Or if you come up on the balls of your feet and roll onto your big toe more, you'll create eversion there. And so it's pretty simple. So what you just do calf raises in those three different angles, and you're going to get these muscle groups working pretty cool, which is what we want to do. And that's pretty much the peroneals, right? It's a fairly simple, straightforward little muscle group. We've got some pretty cool acupuncture points up here. There's a really good one just below the head of the fibula called gallbladder 34. It's a great point for any tendon pathology. And we've got some really nice points around here. There's a great classical gallbladder point, which is great for actually hangovers. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day. I really wouldn't recommend relying on using that to recover from hangovers, though. Like, you're going to manage your alcohol intake. All right, so that's the peroneals. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions at all, always leave a comment down in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, and share the video so we can kind of help spread the knowledge of human movement and functional anatomy to make you just a better overall human being so you can move pain-free. All right, thanks. We'll see you in the next one.